Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions. Thank you for our time together. We're coming to you again from the Sea of Galilee. Now, normally we've been changing our shots for each day, but Brother John really liked this shot, so we're going to use this shot again, and you can tease him about it when you see him. Mark chapter 9, beginning with verse 33. And when they came to Capernaum, and when he was on his way into the house, he asked them, "What were you discussing on the way?" Now listen to their answer. But they kept silent. Have you ever noticed you don't want to answer people about what you were talking about when you weren't talking about the right things? But they kept silent. For on the way they had argued with one another about who was the greatest. And he sat down and he called the 12, and he said to them, "If anyone would be first, he must be last of all and servant of all." Now, brothers and sisters, isn't it amazing? We live with this crazy idea that the apostles, well, we know they weren't perfect, but they were almost perfect. I mean, they were the 12 apostles. But they sat there and argued among themselves who was the greatest. It's not unlike some of us preachers today. We argue about who is the greatest, who has the biggest this, who has the biggest that. I remember as a young pastor, I was shocked to begin to read some of the revival histories of the great tent meeting days from the 1950s, and how one guy would have a tent made 6 inches bigger than his competitor's tent. But brothers and sisters, in the ministry, there is no competition. There is no shortage of sinners in this world. This world is going to hell, and Jesus is the only answer. So here these guys were arguing about who's the greatest, and Jesus said, listen, let's talk about reality. Whoever's going to be the greatest is going to be the servant of all. Now, brothers and sisters, when you start thinking about greatness in the ministry, you need to immediately think greatness of service, not greatness of the size of meetings or greatness of the arrogant talk or the pompous speech or the walking like a rooster. And you need to begin to think about servanthood. Everything in the ministry is about servanthood. Leadership is not based on political leadership or military leadership or corporate structures. In fact, if you were to try to flowchart biblical leadership, it would not be a pyramid with the leader at the top. It would be an upside-down pyramid with the leader at the bottom. True greatness in ministry is servant of all.